Welcome everyone to this exciting game from the Join Dota League. It's between Swag and eHug, and it looks like Swag making a really quick move towards the top lane, as Luna is leading the charge, followed quickly by the Timbersaw, Bane Elemental, Storm Spirit, and far in the rear is the Visage, which should be a really interesting play if they are actually able to get a gank off, though I'm not sure they will with only the Nyx Assassin on the side of eHug up in the top lane. It's going to be Puck in the middle lane for eHug, as they bring looks like their own aggressive tri-lane into the bottom lane with Weaver, Ancient Apparition, and the Abaddon. Not sure if Swag's actually going to run an aggressive tri-lane, as they have the option to, and it would certainly be in their benefit given how these lanes are going to shake out. But I'm not sure if they know these lanes from eHug are going to shake out like this. We know Storm Spirit's going to be in the mid lane, and it looks like Timbersaw is going to rotate down to the bottom lane. Yeah, he definitely is at this point. You don't go all the way down here like this right before the creep wave spawns if you're not going down bottom. And it will be Swag bringing an aggressive tri-lane up top with the Bane Elemental, Marana, and the Visage, which should definitely shut down this Nyx Assassin and keep him from really doing anything super aggressive, as I don't see the Nyx Assassin able to do a whole lot against that tri-lane. Outside of just sit around and pick up some experience. He'll get harassed a lot by the auto attacks, and these auto attacks are going to be extra powerful, as Luna has that Lunar Blessing, gives her a ton of bonus damage, and all the ranged heroes, which they have 2 ranged supports in that top lane, will do just a ton of extra damage. Bottom lane, Timbersaw is going to be in a bit of trouble if he doesn't pick an early point into those Timber chains, and a lot of Timbersaws don't like to do that. They want to get that Whirling Death online, but I expect he'll be able to pick up an early point in the Timber chains, just to make sure that he gets away. This lane does have a lot of kill potential from eHug, as at one point Chilling Touch just does so much, as the Weaver's auto attacks really do hurt with that on. They're doing over 100 damage at this point. Same with Ancient Apparition, they're doing about 100 damage. And just see how much they chunk down this Timbersaw, as he lost almost half his life from just that one set from Chilling Touch. Mid lane is going to be Abaddon rotating through, and it looks like they are going to break up the aggressive tri-lane on the eHug side of things. A very smart decision, as it doesn't look like anything has really gotten from Nyx Assassin. He's picked up about half a level. You really need to be picking up a bit more than that. But I think that's why they're rotating the Abaddon up here. Luna just can't get free farm like this if you want to win a game. Despite having a Weaver, which does counter Luna particularly well, Weaver's burst is insanely powerful, while Luna's a lot more about that team fight AoE damage, with both her ultimate and the bouncing glaives. Mid lane, it's fairly even between the Storm Spirit and the Puck. Storm Spirit is way out CSing the Puck at this point, but Puck has the creep wave coming in, and he should be able to pick up at least 2 or 3 of these minions. Or maybe not. The Storm Spirit's denying him out pretty heavily, taking a small early lead, but that's a lot of harassment coming out from the Storm Spirit. And the Storm Spirit's going to be taken fairly low. Puck might be able to pick up first blood, but he does it just 1 or 2 auto attacks short in the top lane. Luna taking a lot of damage, as Abaddon looks like he went on a bit of a chase with the Visage. And I really don't know what he was thinking diving that deep against Visage. But it might have been worth it, as it really got Nyx Assassin to level 2. And Battle Powered Luna. Nyx Assassin taking fairly low. Luna low as well. Don't think she does have 1 more Lucent Beam in her. But there's Abaddon with a shield. Visage taking very low, and should go down first blood. Oh, did he like cancel his auto attack? It looked like his auto attack just got canceled. That should have been a kill on the side of Cakes. He just didn't get that last auto attack off. He must have moved right before it finished or something. That should have been first blood. Looks like Nyx Assassin not going to pop the salve just yet. Kind of surprised he hasn't backed off and popped it. There we go. There's the clarity. There's the salve. He should be just fine from here on out. Storm Spirit and Puck both duking it out in the mid lane pretty heavily, as they are fairly even overall. Weaver in the bottom lane farming about as well as you can expect. The Bane has rotated down here. Nyx Assassin rotating up top. Looks like he wants to get aggressive, running around the creep wave. And he doesn't really find anyone out, but he does have enough for both his stuns if he uses them. And he's charging him up. Luna rotating through the jungle. Might be caught out for first blood, but the creeps are doing a good job of kind of blocking the way. And it will be Visage with a Grave Chill. Nyx Assassin does get a nice fight carapace off. There's a stun, and first blood is picked up. Luna not going to be able to pick up a counter kill against Abaddon, and the Knicks. But excellent play overall. Exactly what you want to see out of your Knicks assassin. Really making a comeback after a pitiful start. He's actually out-leveling the Luna at this point, despite being in that duo lane and getting zoned out hard at level 1. Looks like there's a dive down bottom. His Timbersaw is very low, but he does get the Timber Chains out. And that point of Enfeeble, just incredibly annoying. And I don't think they're going to be able to finish him off. Minus 24 damage means he's doing basically nothing on his auto attacks. They're in the 40 range overall. And 40 damage in auto attack is not particularly scary. Even if it is on a Weaver, it just doesn't do anything. And Bane is an excellent kind of counter pick to Weaver in that sense. If you can land a good Enfeeble on Weaver, you can reduce his damage a lot, and that does reduce the damage from the Geminate attack. 120 damage reduced at max level. It wouldn't surprise me if he only puts the 1, maybe 2 points in the Nightmare, then goes fully for Brain Sap and the Enfeeble just to keep this Weaver down, as he's the only real heavy damage dealer on the side of eHug. And that is going to be a weakness as this game goes later, as you really don't have the ability to deal with a 2-core lineup coming out from Swag. Well, 2.5 really, because Timbersaw is not building for a very damage-heavy build. He's building for a survive and escape build, overmaxing that Whirling Death. So he's going to come into the game and be not very important for this early to mid portion of it. Just a lack of damage on him, but Nyx Assassin going to be able to get out just fine, as he does pop the Spike Carapace. Just making sure to stay alive as long as he can. Surprised he hasn't taken a point in that mana burn just to harass Luna with it. Make sure she doesn't get the Lucent Beam off. But I guess he just really wants to be able to stun her out if she does try anything. So far, 1 kill on the board on the side of eHug. And they are getting the better of the lanes overall. Puck and Storm Spirit about even in the middle lane. And they're getting a lot more from this off lane. As Timbersaw... Well, actually, Timbersaw is actually down. I guess that first blood kill really made a big difference in the gold. And Abaddon denies himself to a neutral. Looks like it was a true just deny. He'd spent pretty much all of his gold. And he is going to be able to just jump back in lane. It was a smart move. Puck's picked up a haste rune. He's level 6. Question is, will Visage spot him out? And he does. But the Grave Chill doesn't do anything when you're hasted like this. Luna not seen, so she will get away. Dream Coil used, and it's off the mark. Unfortunate for eHug. That could have been a very valuable kill. And Puck will be able to teleport back to the middle lane, but he lost a lot of experience in gold with that, as they gave time for the Storm Spirit to actually catch up, where Puck had taken a small lead. Not a very big one, but a small one, as Abaddon does rotate in, and I don't think he can do anything to the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit's almost level 7. And he can just zip away. But I do love this pickup. And I'll get back to that in a moment. But Nyx Assassin does jump in. They do some good damage to Visage. But Visage just a little too tanky at this point. Grave Chill going to keep him alive. And they just decide to go on Luna. The Luna just a bit too quick at this point in time. Abaddon really needing those boots to keep up. But I love this build from him. You take the 1 point in the curse. So you get the slow and the movement speed buff for yourself. You take the point. You take the Orb of Venom, giving you just an insanely powerful slow throughout the early to mid game. It's pretty cost effective, as the Orb of Venom doesn't cost a whole lot of gold, and it just allows you to do so much. Timbersaw actually managed to find a kill down bottom as they go for the Weaver. Weaver does pick up a kill onto the Bane Elemental, and that is going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. And I think that definitely favors Weaver in this situation, as you want Weaver as farmed as you can get. Giving Timbersaw a kill, okay, you can accept that, especially considering his build. So he's not going to have tons of damage until much later on in the game, but he's able to harass out the Weaver, and that is not good for eHug. He's your main carry, and he's starting to kind of fall behind, as the Puck has taken the CS lead along with Luna and Storm Spirit, as they're all right about in that same area. Puck is going to pick up this invisibility rune, and I expect to see him try something in his top lane with it. As Nyx Assassin caught out yet again, but that Spike Carapace is just doing so much work along with the stun. Teleport's going to come in from the Storm Spirit, and no it doesn't. They looked like he was going to come in, but this should be an easy kill on both of them, or at least the Luna, as there's no way Luna escapes this. This is a beautiful Dream Coil. Nicely played by the Ancient Apparition as well, just getting that chilling touch on both of them. But I don't think they can die the Visage too effectively. And it will be Puck dodging out. And they are able to kill him, but they will lose Puck for it. Yeah, or no, maybe not. Wow, nice save by the Abaddon. That last hit from the tower should have killed him, but he got the shield just in time. Excellent play and a huge win for eHug. They killed the Luna and set her back greatly at this point. She's actually behind the Nyx after that kill. And you really can't afford that on the Luna, who's going a pretty greedy build, picking up already the Ring of Basilius and the Helm of Iron Will, so I fully expect her to go into being able to pick up a creep stacking with that Helm of the Dominator. Even though it's a good build, it's pretty greedy on the side of Luna, as it requires your team to do a lot of work on the mid game, though they do have the Storm Spirit, which should be able to make a lot of mid game work happen and basically secure the game and bunch of farm for Luna. Storm Spirit doing a good job overall. He's the highest net worth in the game thanks to being well up in CS. Puck has rotated a lot more than him though, which is really cutting into Puck's farm, but I think it's definitely okay considering pretty much every time he's rotated, he's gotten a kill or not been gone super long. Storm Spirit in the bottom lane. Looks like they really want to pick up this Abaddon, who's not level 6 yet. He doesn't even have boots. So he might go down if he overextends just a little too far. Perfect ward placed here by the Radiant, and that should be an easy kill. He does get the shield off. Nyx is here. Nice stun, and it should be a counter kill on the Storm Spirit. Or will that be a deny? It is not a deny. One tick away from being a deny, but it saves the rest of his team from being counter-engaged on. So decent play overall, but not a good exchange, as you definitely want that Storm Spirit staying alive. Pretty much needed to trade anyone else on your team for that Storm Spirit at this point, as he is the highest in terms of net worth and farm. So we're doing a good job for the Radiant side, seeing anyone teleporting in, as it does have range right up to the start of the tower. It doesn't see the back of the tower, which I'd have liked to see, but it does see a lot of the river rotations, which is exactly what you're wanting to see overall if you're on the Radiant side. Mid lane, Visage has come up with a Timbersaw, and it looks like they just want to kind of push this wave out. Timbersaw is going for the mech, which hurts his mid game, but it does give him a lot of teamfight utility. He's picked up a lot of levels as of late, as he got a lot of room in that bottom lane, picking up a 1 kill, and just being able to farm effectively against Weaver, as Weaver can't do anything with the 2-2 build he started with, 2 in reactive armor, 2 in tempered chains. It allowed him to farm fairly effectively. Weaver in the top lane can do a lot of damage to this Luna, but Luna coughs the Eclipse, and wow, Weaver went down fast. Abaddon is level 6, so I don't think he's going to die here. Does get the shield up, but there's Puck, and Puck will not get the Dream Coil off in time. Timbersaw doing a ton of damage, and ouch, does that Timbersaw hurt, as he's able to just go ham. Visage picks up a kill, and the Nyx Assassin in the bottom looks to be just way overextending. Don't see how the Nyx Assassin can be that deep at this point in time, but that's just a gross overextension on the side of eHug, as Swag ties up the game and puts the gold lead and experience lead in their favor for the first time in a long while, as they've been doing fairly well, but it's been pretty close to 0, and it's still close to 0 overall. It wouldn't surprise me if this game went pretty late, as both these teams are pretty much inclined to just farm it out. Neither one is playing particularly aggressive, outside of just trying to make these plays happen. They're going for more safe kind of kills. They're not diving towers just yet, with the exception of maybe that Nyx in the last gank, because I didn't actually get to see it. But it is going to be Puck in a bit of trouble in the mid lane as he does get pulled in. There's Bane Elements with a huge brain sap and not enough damage to actually kill him. Ancient Apparition just needed one more auto attack if he was going to be able to kill that Bane Elemental, but the brain sap is way too strong. 4 points of brain sap is 300 damage, and Puck has virtually 0 life at this point. We'll see exactly how much when he actually pops back up. And this Puck is starting to become a bit of a liability, as he's not shutting down the Storm Spirit enough. And the Storm Spirit definitely carries much harder than Puck does as this game progresses. And Puck is basically all about having an amazing set of initiation and shutting down team fights. Though I don't foresee a lot of team fights coming out from Swag. I see them a lot of split push, a lot of getting Luna farmed, and really making sure that they have a safe lane. So there might be a gank down bottom. Ancient Apparition has hit 6, and they're going to show it off. There's going to be a very easy kill on the Visage, but they're not able to kill the big target in Luna. With that, Weaver might be in a bit of trouble. Bane Elemental comes up. He is level 6 to Fiend Grip, but not enough. As the Dust of Appearance does slow him, but it is just not enough to get the Weaver down. Looks like a big dive down bottom since Assassin and Puck have already died behind the tower. Timbersaw going to Timber Chains up, but I don't think he wants to engage this. Abaddon is waiting in the wings to try something, but I don't think it's going to be enough at this point. They're just going to be able to rotate around and go for this tower kill down bottom. Meanwhile, all of this is happening. Storm Spirit doing a good bit of damage to the mid tower, but the Ancient Apparition ultimate yet again stops the push. And it's going to be Luna in a lot of trouble. Luna will go down, teleporting into her death. Not a smart move there by Luna. She definitely wanted to teleport to the side or behind the tower. You can't just teleport right in front. Oh, will be Timbersaw denying the tower. So, while not worth it, if it was any other character other than Luna dying, I think it would have been worth it to get that tower denied. Storm Spirit zips in on the Ancient Apparition, and this should be a very easy kill. Puck is here, but I don't think she's going to be able to find this kill on the Ancient Apparition, or excuse me, on the Storm Spirit. As Storm Spirit's just a little too fast, and Puck doesn't have a whole lot of mana himself. He's pretty low on it. Visage comes up, and they're able to do some good damage with the Familiars, but it's not going to be enough to kill Puck. He's a little too tanky. Weaver does come in with the Abaddon, and that should be a very dead Visage. Don't think he's getting out of this. There's just way too much slow coming out, though. The Grave Chill does keep him alive for a bit longer. He is picked off by the Weaver. Ancient Apparition ultimate just a little bit off, and Storm Spirit is able to teleport away. So overall, 1-for-1 exchange of supports. Let's take a look at levels. It was even, though it was wasted a lot more time on the side of eHug. Timbersaw is able to pick off the Nyx Assassin down bottom. Really surprised that this Timbersaw has been able to find as many kills as he has. Sitting at 3-0-1, getting a ton of experience off these kills. And I really think Nyx Assassin should have been safe in that lane, but Timbersaw just does so much damage at this point. Nyx Assassin can't deal with it, and it's really hurting eHug if they can't keep this Timbersaw at least down. Storm Spirit picks off the Ancient Apparition, but Luna going to go down up top, so I don't think there's any way she escapes this. The Ancient Apparition ultimate too strong, but there's a turnaround as Bane Elemental comes in, doing so much damage, and the Ancient Apparition ult doesn't get the kill. Mid lane, Abaddon in a lot of trouble. Storm Spirit did do some good damage to him, and Storm Spirit did find a kill just a few moments ago. Nyx Assassin is here, does have Vendetta, but doesn't want to spend it. And this might mean trouble, as Nyx Assassin is able to just back away. This is not looking good on the side of eHug. They are getting a lot more on their carry, as Weaver just feels a bit stronger than the Luna at this point. But Luna is definitely a lot stronger at these team fights later, and Storm Spirit carries harder than any secondary on the side of eHug, as they've gone pretty much all in on the Weaver carry. They have a bit of damage coming out from the Nyx Assassin, and it looks like Puck wanting to go for a fight down bottom. There's Luna, and the question is, will he get her if that Ancient Apparition out land? Beautifully played, but miss on the orb. Though that's a quick kill on Luna. She goes down yet again. She's died 3 times already. 1 kill, 1 assist. Not what you're wanting out of your Luna. And this Storm Spirit is getting big though, which is the one big saving grace for Swag. And I think that's exactly what they needed, is this Storm Spirit to pick up an Orchid, which he should have fairly soon. And he's going around with a Bane Elemental. Question is, who will they find? And they will see Abaddon, but they do go under the tower trying to pick up the Weaver. They do a ton of damage, and he does time lapse out with virtually 0 health, and looks like they're going to try for the turnaround. He does have the bottle charges still, though it's hard to use those bottle charges with the little spawn on you. And Weaver will be able to pick up the Storm Spirit. Fiend's Grip is used, but it's immediately interrupted. Not sure exactly what interrupted it, or if he just canceled it out of fear. As Luna did come up, she doesn't have the Eclipse, but she's taking a lot of damage. Weaver doesn't have time lapse, and there's a Nightmare, but I don't think that helps enough, as it is broken well by Abaddon. Weaver has the shield, so they really can't kill her, and it is going to be Weaver picking up a kill. They do have the Sentry Ward, but it's not enough as Puck comes in to secure Weaver's escape, and that's what eHug needed to get back in this game. They had an opportunity to turn that around. It looks like Visage is going to be almost picked up by the Nyx Assassin in the jungle, but he just didn't have enough damage. Definitely needed that extra point in the mana burn if you wanted to finish that Visage. And eHug takes the tower. Second tower of the game. They took the bottom tower. It was denied, but they still got a bunch of extra gold for it. And overall, incredibly worth it on the side of eHug, as they've definitely made a huge comeback for what felt was the game kind of falling out of their hands almost. They're back about 1,500 in terms of gold, and back actually in the experience lead where they were once really far behind. Nyx has bottled up that invisibility rune, is hit level 11, which is the critical point for Nyx Assassin, where he really gets dangerous. That extra duration on the Vendetta, just so incredibly strong. 15 bonus seconds and 10 less on the cooldown. He's going to be in Vendetta practically half the time. He's going to go for Luna again, but I don't think Luna is going to be caught out as easily this time. She's playing incredibly defensive, as she's been ganked just way too many times by this Nyx Assassin. And this greedy build is not paying off that well for Luna at this point. If she starts stacking, it might be. Bane and Elemental and the Storm Spirit are spotted out up top thanks to that really friendly minion. He just takes a little stroll through the trees. And that definitely saves a fairly easy kill on the Weaver. And this should be a pretty big push on the side of Swag, as they brought basically everyone up here. Storm Spirit has picked up the double damage rune, so this is their opportunity to go. Mid lane tower should be taken pretty easily by Puck, as they do finish it off and they see the big engagement up top. Not sure it's worth it so far. Weaver comes in and the Sakuchi. Ice lands. That's a ton of targets hit. Puck with a decent Dream Coil hitting 4. But the Luna ultimate so incredibly strong, kills the Weaver. Nyx Assassin goes down as well. There's just no damage once Weaver's dead. Abaddon going to likely go down here as he just decides to teleport out. And he does actually get out. Nicely played by the Abaddon, but the lack of damage really showing on the side of eHug. They just don't have the ability to kill anyone at this point. They're going to need some Dagons. Puck would need one pretty soon. Same with the Nyx Assassin. And I don't think they're going to have them in time to bring the real damage they need on the side of eHug. They have a great lineup to control things, but as second Weaver dies, he just the damage kind of stops. That's all I can really say about it. They just don't have any damage outside of it. Puck does have that first level Dagon, which is going to help pretty significantly, as eHug doesn't need that much in terms of control. They just need the damage. Abaddon likely working his way to either a Force Staff or Necronomicon. I like the Necronomicon in this choice, as it gives him that extra bit of health, it gives him a lot more mana, and it gives him a way to contribute and deal damage in these fights, as it will mean a whole lot of damage coming out from those minions. The mana burn is incredibly annoying, especially on targets like Storm Spirit. Put the mana burn from Nyx Assassin and those Necronomicon minions on Storm Spirit, and he's in a terrible position. He's fairly low on health as Abaddon wants to come up here and try and contest. But it is going to be Puck getting a good silence off, but it's not going to be enough. But Nyx Assassin is there to seal the deal. Well played, and a great executed gank on the side of eHug. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast does some good damage, but it doesn't stop that tower push. And the towers are almost evened out, as eHug is up one tower, thanks to this bottom lane tower, still being in pretty good health overall. Mid lane, smoke is popped by the Bane Elemental and the Visage, as they both going to rotate down bottom. Try and find a kill on this Puck. Not a particularly hard kill unless Puck just decides to jump out. That looks to be the case, as he definitely knows he's kind of overextended at this point in time. Both teams really not able to get a big lead. As we look at the golden experience, very near even at this point. And the big difference here is the Puck and Weaver very far ahead of anyone on the Swag side of things. Luna doing a good job of farming back up. She has picked up a Claymore, so it wouldn't surprise me to see her go something like Shadow Blade this game. Not a terrible pickup overall. And it's going to be Timbersaw in a bit of trouble, as he is kept in there with Puck, and the Ice Blast does land, so that should be a kill as Dagon seals the deal. And now Puck's getting the big damage. Should have another level of Dagon up pretty soon. and Weaver definitely needs to pick up some big damage at this point. He's decently tanky with the Lincoln Sphere already in line and the stick charges, which he stacked up pretty high already, so he should be able to survive most engagements. Just needs to be able to pile on the damage, as they don't have a whole lot on the side of eHug at this point. Abaddon playing bait, but Abaddon not someone you can really be used as bait. His ultimate's just way too strong for bait. It allows him to stay alive no matter what for several seconds. And Bane Elemental's still here with the Visage. I'm not sure they're going to be able to find a kill, as Abaddon does spot him out. Question is, will they be able to find something? I don't think they're going to. Smart move, just teleport out. They have no way to stop it. This is buying a lot of space for Storm Spirit, and that's going to be a dead Storm Spirit. Perfectly played by Puck. And ouch, that combo hurts. That's what they needed earlier in this game. But it is showing, and it is showing well right now, as Puck and the Ancient Apparition combo doing real work. Ancient Apparition actually going with a Midas, and I like this choice on him. He needs the levels, he needs the extra gold to pick up the Aghanims, and once you pick up the Aghanims, you can easily go for something like the Yule Scepter or a Hex Stick, and just be able to do a whole lot. Bottom lane, looks like Luna's going to be caught out. Success and does land some good damage, and it will be Luna. She is able to escape. The Shadow Blade does allow her to escape. Weaver doesn't just kind of run randomly with a Sakuchi. And good move by Luna, just kind of staying out of the fight. Next Assassin might go down, but Weaver should be able to pick up one kill. And it will be Next Assassin living for just a bit longer, but there's the Soul Assumption. But he might have bought enough time for Visage to get in there and be picked off, but nope. As he is able to stay alive thanks to his familiars getting their stuns back. Overall 1-for-1, Storm Spirit makes a big jump. And I'm not sure it's going to be worth it just yet. That Storm Spirit takes a lot of damage, but here comes Timbersaw with so much damage. Weaver is just forced to just run away at this point. He did get a good time lapse off. Ancient Apparition ultimate's a little off, but he'll run right into the Storm Spirit, and Storm Spirit definitely worse for wear after that trade. Timbersaw out of mana, and they're not going to pursue too heavily, as they don't know where the Luna is. And Luna just decides to go rotate up top. She had her Eclipse, but that Shadow Blade, excellent choice this game. They're going to have to pick up a gem pretty early on the side of eHug. And they're going to need it really soon as well, just to make sure they can keep her down. She's farmed pretty well considering how bad a start she had, and how well Nyx Assassin has kind of controlled her. Puck's going to find her out, and she just pops a Shadow Blade. Dust is used, and that should be a very dead Luna, especially considering she didn't get a full channel that Eclipse off. One more hit, and it is Ancient Apparition stealing the kill. Great play, good kill steal, exactly what you want to see out of support. Ancient Apparition alt flies, and it will be right on the money. Boom! Hitting 3. And they're the little Weaverlings. They're beetles, but they're Weaver's little spawns. And that was almost an opportunity to go. Timbersaw hadn't shown up. It wouldn't surprise me if Weaver didn't dive that tower. And eHug in a great position right now. They're getting a ton of experience. They're getting the gold lead back, and they're keeping Luna down. Luna is the highest in terms of farm, but she hasn't picked up much in kills, and she's died just way too often. Timbersaw running up top, just trying to get a bit of extra farm. As the smoke has been popped by both Storm Spirit and Bane Elemental. Not sure this is the wisest idea without great map vision, but they're going to go right in on Puck. But I don't think Puck's going to go down. It looks like that Abaddon shield breaking the ultimate of Bane. And that's one dead. Bane Elemental does dodge for a little bit, but no way he escapes. He does not deny himself. Puck picks it up, and Luna just Shadow Blades out, noping herself all the way out of that engagement. And this is huge for eHug, as they're going to be able to pick up this bottom tower pretty uncontested. And I'm just not sure what Swag can do to get back in this game. They're trying to gank, they try to farm the Luna up, but nothing seems to work. And that's Timbersaw. Does get hit with the ultimate by Puck. And this should be a very dead Timbersaw. It's going to take a while to kill him, and that's a gem. He did pick up a gem, so that's a free gem for the side of eHug, and no gem for the side of Swag for a good while. And that just hurts. Another almost 9 minutes, or more than 9 minutes at this point, before they get another gem, unless they steal it back. And this is looking really grim on the side of Swag. They just have to turtle up at this point. I don't think there's any other option outside of turtling it up, possibly stacking the Ancients, but Luna can't do that with a Helm of the Dominator. It's just not looking good on the side of Swag. eHug has just done an excellent job. As soon as that puck pick up Dagon, he pretty much uses it on cooldown to pick up a kill, and it's worked insanely well. He is working his way towards the Sheepstick. He's going for not the max Dagon build, which I'd have liked to see this game, just giving them even more damage. Next Assassin 2-1 has been dead up if needed. And they will spot the Bane Elemental out, and he just teleports away. Good call. Exactly what you want to see out of your supports and these high-level games. Just knowing when you can just teleport out of the map. Teleport right back to base. No worries about being stunned up. Nyx had a kind of risky shot as he was going for the Luna over the easy kill in the Bane. But it definitely works out on the side of Swag as they don't lose anyone. They had to burn some teleports, which is a slight gold loss, but not particularly significant at this point, as it does save them from losing even more. Visage getting closer and closer to that Abaddon Scepter, and that's going to be a big turning point. That extra stun is just incredibly powerful. It's a 1.5 second stun by the time he gets the Abaddon Scepter. Well, it'll be close, but it's an extra stun and a half, or a second and a half of stun. And it's just so incredibly powerful how much that adds to a team fight, along with the pretty heavy damage from the familiars. Wouldn't surprise if eHug just went straight into Roche at this point. Brought the Weaver up, as Weaver is working towards his Desolator. He's still he actually has it. He has the Mytho Hammers on the Courier. Just wanted to see if he actually had them. And it's going to be Timbersaw in a bit of trouble. The Assassin does pop Spark Carapace a little early, hoping he just Timber Chain away immediately, but smart move. Abaddon has picked up the 4-stack, going for a bit more mobility. And the Ancient Apparition will have his Abaddon Scepter up after this Roshan kill. And there's no good way to stop this Roshan on the side of Swag. They can go in there, but I don't think they win the team fight. And it's going down very fast with all that minus armor. And in addition to the additional attack speed, it's a huge attack speed bonus coming out from Abaddon. It's 30 bonus attack speed, and Weaver picks up the Aegis. Swag does get a bit of farm off this, but it's not nearly enough. They're not even stacking the Ancients, which is something that's critical for a team with Luna. I'm not sure they're even stacking the jungle at all at this point, as Luna could definitely benefit from a few stacks of camps. Just all that extra gold is extra gold at this point. Top lane, Timbersaw does get it with Ancient Apparition Blast, but I don't think he's going to go down just yet. He doesn't have a teleport scroll. There it is. But hexed up by the puck with a haste rune, and that's a very easy kill. And the Courier just a little late on that delivery. He could have gotten away if he had a teleport scroll at the beginning, but instead he's forced to sacrifice himself. Luna down bottom is likely to get picked off, but I don't see the gem. Puck is there, just throws down the ultimate, and it's a very dead Luna, and it looks like Puck is the gem carrier this game. And this is really looking bad for Swag. They've lost Luna yet again. Timbersaw is off to basically nothing at this point. He's gonna eventually get a Bloodstone, but nowhere close to it. And there's the stun. Visage in a lot of trouble as he takes just tons of damage, and I don't think he's getting out of here. Nice block by the Nyx Assassin, buying just enough time for Weaver to get another attack. Bane Elemental could turn around Fiend's Grip, but he's pretty dead at this point, as they do use the vision from Nyx to pick up that kill. Excellently played. 13-25. I don't think Swag's picked up a kill in the last 10 minutes, as they just haven't had the ability to do anything. Storm Spirit does pick up a tower up top, which is a small win, and definitely what they need at this point. Just any source of gold. Get Luna that BKB, as she's gonna have it at this point. That's a turnaround item. If you can't burst her down, she can get a good ultimate off. She's level 17 with a Shadow Blade, so she can kind of initiate for herself. Storm Spirit's gonna have his BKB up fairly soon. It's still a good ways off, but it's not that far. Visage has picked up his 3rd familiar, so a huge chunk of extra damage, and this is kind of the point where Swag has to make a good stand. They don't have a lot going for them other than Luna's decently farmed, Well, but Weaver and Puck are just so much more. They're going to have to make a stand. I expect them to make it the base. You don't make a stand at a tier 2 tower, especially when the enemy team's all waiting around to initiate on you. The second you make that little mistake. And it's me, Puck, jumping in, getting the Hex on the Timbersaw, but not really able to continue that much. Nice use of the sleep, and it's going to be Nyx Assassin falling pretty quick. But they trade 1 for 1 so far. Weaver taking a lot of damage, but he has the Aegis. And it is going to be Luna continuing to farm. She hasn't decided to go back yet. Timbersaw buys back. And I love this play by Swag as they're going to continue to go in. Puck can take a lot of damage. He's not dead yet. Should be able to blink out of here as soon as he comes out. But instead, he's just going to go harass the Storm Spirit. Timbersaw doing a good bit of damage and should be able to pick off this Ancient Apparition. Puck does come and try and secure the teleport back. But here comes Luna. She has Shadow Blade up. She has her BKB and she has Eclipse. Question is, will she use it? And it is going to be Abaddon. Going to take a dive eventually. As she does pop the ultimate. Weaver takes a lot of damage but does pick off the Abaddon on the way out. And Weaver will lose the Aegis. Is there a gem? There is not. So Weaver should be able to get out of here okay. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Didn't think there was a gem, but they had enough. And that's well played. And that's a big defense by Swag. They pick up several kills. It cost them some buybacks and kills of their own. But Luna coming out super far ahead, and they should be able to pick up this gem. Or maybe not. They're just going to kind of let it go. Say we don't want it. And that's a huge mistake, just not picking up that gem. And Ancient Apparition ult going to do a good bit of damage and slow this push down. But it's going to be another tower taken by Luna. And she's come back. She's in this game. She's right up against Weaver. And eHug looking kind of defeated after that last engagement. Nyx Assassin has decided to go with the Necronomicon. Not going for the big burst, wanting that invisibility, or seeing invisibility, and the ability to mana drain out someone, in addition to his already powerful mana burn. Ancient Apparition with the Aghanims, likely going to be going to a 4-staff or Yule Scepter. Both are perfect for this game, as they just need that ability to move around quicker and get that extra bit of mana. Puck wouldn't surprise me if he maxes out his Dagon at this point. They need that extra burst damage. They need to be able to find a kill on to Luna before she pops that BKB, or as soon as she pops it, back up and re-engage once it's down. Timbersaw's picked up his Bloodstone, and this is where he's going to have to find a bit of initiation, as he's their big initiator at this point. Storm Spirit just a little too squishy. As soon as he picks up that BKB, he can initiate. But for the foreseeable future, he's just not tanky enough to really go in there and do a whole lot. Weaver does pick off one of the birds, but he is going to be not spotted out. Perfect time for Sakuchi. He must have heard that Storm Spirit zipping in. And a really greedy play. Puck does pick up 2 kills down this bottom lane. They just find him out in the middle of the nowhere, as it is going to be Weaver just continually playing cat and mouse with Swag. And it looks like Puck just spotted out the 2 supports down in this bottom lane and just murdered them. Weaver, they do spot out the Luna. She does Shadow Blade away, but she was spotted out pushing this tier 3 tower. It does do a decent amount of damage to it, taking it down a few hundred points at this point. And Luna pops the ultimate as she's in retreat, and she might be able to get away from this. She has Shadow Blade up in a few seconds. The Vendetta doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but she is not nearly strong enough. Timbersaw is here and might get hexed out. He does. That's going to be a big initiation, and it is going to be a kill picked up by Puck. And this is going to be the time for eHug to push. I don't see any reason for them not to. There's multiple buybacks on cooldown. Luna has one, but Timbersaw doesn't. And that's really the key buyback at this point. Luna buying back is great, but she doesn't have a clip. She doesn't have a great deal of damage at this point. And they really just need to survive here. But I expect eHug to at least take that tier 3 tower. And it should be about it. I don't think they have the pushing power to go racks just yet, with Timbersaw respawning in a few seconds. MKB up on Weaver, anticipating the butterfly, which is exactly what Luna's going for. And that's going to be an incredibly potent pickup. If she gets the BK, if she gets the evasion, it's going to be nice, but Weaver already has the MKB. MKB completely counters the butterfly, and there's no one else on the eHug side of things that really cares about physical attacks. Nyx Assassin with a Vendetta, but I don't think that's who you're really picking up the extra evasion, unless that's just a casual Eagle Song into something like a shotgun. Because I think that would be an interesting choice for Luna this game. But it would be pretty effective, considering I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of effectiveness coming out from that butterfly at this point. Luna going to go kill the Ancients with the help of Timbersaw. He just basically plays scout at this point. He's basically a roaming meat shield. He doesn't do a whole lot outside of just getting in there and dealing damage, but it's really hard to get in there and deal damage against this lineup from eHug. They just have a lot of close range CC. He'll get stunned pretty hard by the Spike Carapace and just doesn't have the ability to do a whole lot once he's stunned out. So we're continuing with split push, and he's really done a great job of keeping Swag in this game. Split pushing all around. He found a good bit of kills in the mid portion of the game, and he's definitely been the MVP of this game so far. Despite Luna getting all the farm, he's kept them in this game so far. Puck gonna come out. BKB is popped, but he can't really teleport. And this is going to be a very dead Storm Spirit unless he just gets a huge mana infusion. Bane Elemental might sacrifice himself here, but I don't think he's going to be sacrificing himself enough. Storm Spirit continues to run. And this cat and mouse game is going to last a little bit. But there's the Dagon coming out. Huge damage, and it is going to be Ancient Apparition just barely safe, or off the mark. Timbersaw, wow, Timbersaw commits suicide. Thought he would have tried to go and keep alive with the Timber Chains for a bit longer. But instead he says, I'm dead, I'd rather respawn faster. And he's almost out of Bloodstone charges. He's up to 3. Which is nothing compared to the 8 you start with, but Luna's going to take a tower and just Shadow Blade out. Luna doing a great job of split pushing this game. And it's really been important to pick up these split pushing towers, even if she hasn't joined a lot of these fights. Just the extra tower gold is massive, as now Swag has a tower advantage on eHug. They picked up all the outer towers, everything but the base towers. And the Rax towers at this point. The question is, will Luna get a good engagement here? Storm Spirit up in 6, so he should be up for this fight. He'll have his BKB. But I don't think Swag is going to stay around for it. They're going to run right to Roche, who still has a few seconds left on him. Not a whole lot of time. But it is going to be just a back away by both teams. Just continuing to farm it out. Luna up here. Don't think this is where she wants to be, though, as there's no way to escape this. Weaver's up. Huge damage coming out from Luna. She doesn't have a Shadow Blade. And that's 81 seconds without Luna. She does not have buyback. She's 500 gold short, and I'd push the base. If I were eHug, push the base as hard as you can at this point. You're in a great spot. They don't have Luna for a good bit of time. And you have a Weaver with a Desolator and an MKB on his way to a heart. You're quite happy. Storm Spirit's going to jump in and just run back. Tower is taken fairly low. And I don't think Swag should defend this tower. Just let the tower go. Throw out whatever spells you can from a distance, but stay very safe. And Storm Spirit just jumping back and forth, trying to be a distraction. But he doesn't have the mana for a little bit. Puck gonna jump in, do some good damage to the Bane Elemental. But not enough to kill. Though that might do it, as the Ancient Apparition lands a huge ultimate. Timbersaw getting in there, doing some good damage to the Nyx Assassin. But he just is not tanky enough and goes down. Nyx Assassin does fall. Weaver very low. Storm Spirit is on decent health, but out of mana. And this is going to be a big retreat. Weaver is fairly low, but will be able to pick up at least one familiar and stay alive. They do manage to save the tier 3 tower on the side of Swag. But I'm not sure it's worth it. I think giving up that tier 3 tower and taking 1 or 2 less deaths might have been. Because I don't think they go for the Rax afterwards. I think they just back up and go for Roche, who has respawned after that engagement. Ancient Apparition picking up the Yule Scepter, so we can do that awesome Ancient Apparition combo. You throw down the cold feet, hit them up with Yules, and basically they're stunned the second they land. Weaver getting very close to that heart of Tarask, which means basically unkillable Weaver. You have to just go through so many hit points on him. And it wouldn't surprise me if he went for the buyback strategy if once he picks up the heart. Where you go in, dive in, buyback, time-lapse right into the engagement. As I don't think there's going to be enough burst to really kill him before he's kind of whittled down. As time-lapse only brings you back a few seconds. It's 5 seconds, which is more than enough time to just kind of whittle the Weaver down. Storm Spirit, not sure exactly what he wants to pick up next, as he just has that point booster. And at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes Shiva's Guard, actually. It would be an excellent pickup for him. A lot of extra mana. Or a Scythe of Eyes would be a good choice. Either one of them giving just that extra layer of CC. Luna going to be caught out, and easy kill in the Roche Pit. No clue why she came in there at all. Just a silly idea to try and do Roche on the side of Swag. They don't have the team for it. Visage in a lot of trouble. Luna has bought back. So huge win on the side of eHug. You killed the Luna, you forced her to buy back without really investing anything. You burn Vendetta, you burn the Ancient Apparition ultimate. You don't lose it much of anything. And there's Puck with the Ethereal Blade. Huge damage going to come out of him. Dagon E-Blade on Puck. That's pretty ridiculous as he does not jaunt to it. Puck picked up the Aegis. As Luna comes in with a big Eclipse, that's a huge amount of damage, and Weaver's dead. Nyx Assassin's dead. Ancient Apparition going to fall very soon. Puck's already having to jump away, but he's not going to get out of this engagement. He does kill the Luna, though, which is pretty huge. Weaver going to try and come back in this engagement, but I don't think he's going to be on time. Puck missed on the ultimate, but no way to escape there. Weaver looking to just clean up. Weaver has bought back. He's forced to time lapse. And I don't think there's enough crowd control. The Familiar's going to have their stuns back soon. But I'd say that's a win on the side of Swag. They all lost 3, but they took several buybacks. And Weaver just not looking incredibly strong, as he was just crushed in that last engagement. They lost everyone but the Timbersaw. So I'd say pretty decent engagement on the side of Swag. We'll take a look at the graphs and see if they can confirm that. And definitely, it started off well, as we can see that big dip. But overall, it turned out to about even, other than the fact Weaver's buyback is now on cooldown, along with Puck, 2 of the critical heroes on the side of eHug. And at this point, eHug really just needs to go make a push. Still a few seconds left on everyone, and that's Timbersaw in a lot of trouble. He should be able to get out of this fairly easily. But ouch, does Puck take a lot of damage from his own spells. That Blade Mail being shown off and doing a ton of work. As Timbersaw just buys time. Misses the hook, though he's still going to go down. If he made that hook, he might have been able to get away, and he could get away here. He's doing the right thing. Just staying alive as long as he can. He's got 7 Bloodstone charges, so he's going to come back pretty quickly. And there's a teleport. No way to stop him. So huge win by Swags. They don't have to waste any more buybacks. They don't have to burn anything else in terms of major cooldowns. And they're back in fighting shape. So keep a look at the buybacks. It's still Puck, Luna, and Weaver without them. And pretty much everyone else doesn't have one, as they're just short gold. They're still on cooldown on the Puck, Weaver, and Luna. Weaver is the highest farmer in the game, but Puck and Luna about tied for second, with the Visage actually getting a whole lot of gold here, as he has picked up the items and he has his own Scythe of Ice, which is a huge pickup for a support at this point. He's been picking up a lot of the kills. Storm Spirit has picked up his Orchid and BKB. Still not sure what he's using that point booster for. I'll have to see what it actually builds into. It looks like he has thrown it on the ground and trying to bottle up a bit faster. And point booster, I guess Bloodstone would be my only choice here. Bloodstone or possibly a Scotty. Scotty'd be a decent pickup for him. It'd give him a bit of an attack speed slow. So I could see that being a pickup. But I definitely think a Scythe of Ice would have been a bit better of a choice. But it's still going to be interesting to see how it happens. Nyx Assassin Does spot the Luna out. And there's the Fiend's Grip on the Nyx. Are they going to go for it? Eclipse is popped. And that's a kill. And that's going to buy 80 seconds without Nyx Assassin on the battlefield. I'll check his buyback. And he does not have it. Still very short in terms of gold. But this is just way too greedy on the side of eHug. Abaddon's going to come up top. BKB popped by Luna, but she doesn't have an ultimate. She will be able to just run away. Bane's going to just run away as well. Hex not in time, so it worked out.
Top tower is under attack.
That's just kind of flabbergasted me how that worked out. That no one could get any crowd control on the Bane Elemental to kill him. Not surprised Luna BKB teleport out. That was the obvious choice there. Really the only choice she had if she wanted to stay alive. Smoke has been popped by the Visage. She just kind of rotates around, not finding anything at this point. Bane Elemental's about to pick up his BKB. His Heart of Trask is now finished up on the Weaver. Almost 3,000 life points. Surprised he hasn't passed the gem off to someone like the Abaddon, who's not going to die in these engagements. Weaver going to come up, do some good damage to Timbersaw, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Hex is used. Weaver taking a lot of damage. He has forced a time lapse, and he's back at full health. Storm Spirit comes in, does a lot of damage to the Weaver. But I don't think it's going to be enough to get a kill. There's Puck doing some good damage, but doesn't get his combo off just yet. And he might go down without actually popping it. And he does. No E-Blade Dagon. And this Weaver does not have the damage late game. As I said earlier, that Enfeeble crushes his damage. As Abaddon is going to go down, not able to pick up the invisibility rune in time. And this Weaver needs more damage at this point. He does not do enough. He loses 120 damage, practically half of his damage, when he gets an Enfeeble on him. And he has no way to remove it at this point. So Swag with 2 down and no buybacks, Puck's still down for a good while, as he died just a few moments ago. Abaddon, no buyback. He's short incredibly in terms of gold. It's going to be a good stun by the Ancient Apparition. And there's a decent stun there by Nyx, just keeping this game in. Keeping this alive. Swagger in a lot of trouble. They do find 1 pickoff, 2 pickoffs, and Weaver no buyback. Is that game? I think that might be game for Swag. They've been down the entire time, but they just found 1 or 2 pickoffs. Weaver's not going to have buyback, and they just put it back in their favor. No experience lead. Ancient Apparition gets a good ultimate, but that's game. I'm just kind of shocked. What do you do about that when your Weaver gets picked off and doesn't have his buyback? And that's the importance of buybacks. And Swag just found way too many pickoffs. eHug were dominating this game. And if they played it a bit more carefully, they should have won this game by all accounts. But they didn't stay alive long enough in the end. They let Luna farm back into this game. And at the end, just a huge win by Swag in what should have been a loss. eHug definitely had that game in their favor, and they got to be kicking themselves after this. Excellent game overall by both teams, but eHug just getting too greedy to finish it off. Could not. And this is Pander signing off, as this has been a game from the Join Dota League between Swag and eHug. Welcome everyone to the Keys of the Game, where we watch some of the highlights and big turning points in the game we just watched. First key to the game between Swag and eHug is how the lane shaped out. Both teams decided to run aggressive tri-lanes, with Abaddon, Weaver, and Ancient Apparition in the off lane. It's likely a much weaker tri-lane than the Visage, Bane, Luna lane up top, so instead they get a good dodge on the side of eHug. That also means that Nyx Assassin is up against a very aggressive tri-lane that doesn't have a whole lot of damage. They're a lot more about control and just pumping out auto attacks, and you can't really do that against the Nyx Assassin early on. This also is another great play by the Abaddon, rotating up top and making sure that the Nyx Assassin gets good farm and the ability to just kind of stick around and get a bit of experience, as he was shut down early. So it becomes a dual lane on the side of eHug versus a tri-lane on the side of Swag. And overall, it works out incredibly well due to the fact that Swag just gets a lot less out of it due to the fact Nyx Assassin picks up several kills in the lane. The second key to the game is this failed gank on Weaver top. Storm Spirit's at good mana, he jumps in and he takes a bunch of health out of Weaver. But Weaver lives with 19 HP. And this basically gets turned around heavily on the Storm Spirit, who's virtually out of mana. It's just enough for a zip or two. Ancient Apparition is a little off with the Ice Blast, but this leads to a very easy kill on the Storm Spirit. Bane gets a Fiend's Grip, but it's immediately broken by the Weaver. The shield from Weaver will break a lot of crowd control, and this fight gets turned around incredibly poorly on the side of Swag, as this basically sets Luna back a ton, as she was farming very well before this. She comes up top, they do a perfect transfer of the Bane Nightmare, and they just shut down the Luna. Weaver's almost dead yet again, but gets Sakuchi off just in time, and Puck comes in at the last second to shove off the Bane Elemental and make sure that he doesn't get that last hit or two. Same with Timbersaw, and this goes incredibly well from Swag, as Weaver lives with a ton of health. They also managed to push Visage out of lane, slowing him down even further on his build. And this is just a great overall engagement for eHug. This allows them to get pretty far ahead as they take the top tower in the end. The next key to the game comes as eHug is making a big push towards this middle lane. They're easily going to be able to take this tower. Puck blinks in, gets a nice scythe off on Timbersaw. He's going to go down pretty quickly, but he soaks a lot of ultimates up in the process, and no one else takes damage from the Ancient Apparition. Weaver takes a lot of damage, is taken pretty low. Nyx Assassin is completely obliterated on the side. But throughout all of this, Luna's already taken one tower down bottom. They force the Timbersaw buyback on the side of eHug, which is a big win, but they don't retreat. And Swag is able to do a whole lot of damage throughout this fight. Timbersaw able to go up and burn the Ancient Apparition down pretty quickly. Puck in a lot of trouble as well, as he takes a lot of damage. Weaver going to do some good damage to Timbersaw, who's already died and had to buy back. Luna comes in this fight very late after taking that bottom tower. Abaddon in a lot of trouble as well. Weaver going to be doing a lot of damage, but there's an Abaddon kill. They've killed Puck off as well, who's very low. Timbersaw is able to escape. They burn the Aegis on the side of Swag. And finally they're able to pick off the Weaver thanks to just some amazing burst, as he was, I believe, invisible at that point, as I don't see a gem on anyone on the side of Swag. And they took a bottom tower as well, which leads to Luna split pushing throughout the rest of this game. She'll eventually take this bottom tower and push several other key spots around the map to pick up gold, and this really becomes Swag's way of staying in the game for a very long time. The next key to the game occurs as Luna and Visage try to duo Roshan, which would have been a good idea if they were on the dire side, but seeing as they're on the Radiant, they're pretty easily spotted out, and Luna just gets demolished. There's nothing she can do in this situation, and she has to buy back in just a few moments. Visage will narrowly escape thanks to some pretty much perfect familiar play, getting multiple stuns on at least two heroes. This is where eHug makes the correct decision to just go run back and take Roshan. Timbersaw is out of position in the middle lane, so he's not going to have a big impact on this fight until later on. But this is a very easy Roshan on the side of eHug. The problem comes, and this is the big key, right after the engagement. When eHug think, we could just immediately fight. We burned a lot on Luna, but Luna comes in, pops her BKB, shows off the Eclipse, and Weaver just gets demolished. Weaver didn't pick up the Aegis, it was picked up on Puck. And that becomes really critical in this fight, as Puck comes back and he doesn't really get anything off. He gets his combo off and kills Luna, but it's not worth it. Weaver buys back and tries to make something happen, but he just doesn't get the opportunity to, as running 3v1 is not particularly great. He does get the Storm Spirit kill, so it might have been worth it. That's really debatable at this point. Puck buys back, not worth it at all, as I don't think in a 2v3 situation with Weaver alive that Swag is going to push it all. But that Puck buyback is incredibly valuable later on, as we'll see in just a few moments. The final key to the game comes in as eHug makes a very aggressive play towards the Swag jungle. Weaver gets in there and tries to pick off a Timbersaw, but he just doesn't have any luck at that point. Visage uses a great sheep, which forces Weaver to a very early time lapse. If this was it, it would have been a fine engagement. You lose the Abaddon, you defend as the rest of your team. But Weaver takes a bunch of damage and is forced out of the fight. Puck comes in and doesn't get anything off in this last engagement. If he would have gotten his abilities off, they might have been able to pick off someone like the Luna. But he gets absolutely nothing. Abaddon's going to fall as well, which is not as critical, but still vitally important, as they don't have him for base defense. As Swag decide, to just book it right towards the mid lane. And eHug is forced to defend 3v5. Several key ultimates are still on cooldown, such as the Eclipse, and Storm Spirit's fairly low on mana at this point. He's had to go back to base, so he's not going to be there for the initial fight that happens at the tier 3 towers. Swag are just going to go run up to the base and say, we don't care, we want to take this Rax. We know Puck doesn't have buyback. Abaddon likely doesn't have buyback as well, and as we can see, he doesn't. Timbersaw going to be stunned up, but it's not enough, as Weaver tries to get in there, but he just doesn't have any way to prevent damage, and he just gets bursted down so fast by the full combo coming out from Swag. There's just nothing he can do, and he can't buy back. He was just short in terms of time, and in terms of money, he was not that far off considering how well he'd been farming overall. And that basically leads to eHug's demise, as they really just overextended one too many times and let Swag stay in this game a bit too long. Thank you for watching this Gamecast by Pander. If you wish to see more, please check out my YouTube and Twitch links below. Thank you again for watching.